Yo, it's your boy here from the Gangster Times. Please like, comment, subscribe to my channel.
And follow me on my new Instagram channel, gangstertimes_official. And please go on to www.patreon.com/gangstertimes and support the running of this channel. On the evening of 2nd of January 2017, near Uddersfield, West Yorkshire, a man named Yassar Yaqub was a passenger in an Audi stopped by police on a slip road near Junction 24 on the M62 motorway, and he was fatally shot by a firearms officer. This is the story of the death of Yassar Yaqub. Yaqub was in one of two cars travelling when four unmarked police vehicles stopped them at Junction 24 off the motorway in Uddersfield. So the driver Amin obeyed police instruction. Mr. Yaqub had crouched down. As he brought his hands back up, the officer was under no doubt that he was holding a handgun. That's when the firearms officer fatally shot Yassar Yaqub. Now, before I begin and give you all the information, I want to state that both the defendants I'm going to speak about stated that Yassar Yaqub was not carrying a gun at the time of his death. The feds turned up wearing baseball caps and jeans and fired shots at Yassar Yaqub and killed him. Point is, don't always believe what the feds tell you, because they'll always try to worm their way out of an unlawful killing. Now, the reason why I'm going to talk about this topic is because I watched this documentary, and there was a journalist called Mobeen Azhar who goes back to his hometown of Huddersfield. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, and he wants to cover the death of Mohammed Yassar Yaqub. What this Mobeen Azhar tries to do is find out what the truth is behind Yassar Yaqub's death. But to me, it seemed as though that he had a personal vendetta against his hometown. So the documentary starts off about trying to find the truth behind Yassar Yaqub's death. However, he portrays him as a drug lord, as a playboy, friends Yassar Yaqub's father, and his father thinks that this journalist is going to help him try to get justice, because his father created a Justice for Yassar campaign. However, this journalist Mobeen Azhar had his own agenda, and like I said, he had issues with his own community. Rather than concentrating on the subject matter that the documentary is about, he starts talking about all other types of things, whether it was about drug dealing, whether it was about grooming, whether it was about violent crime. He tried to cover every single topic when the title was about uncovering the truth behind Mohammed Yassar Yaqub's murder, and speak about facts rather than bashing a community. And I absolutely hate that type of sneaky journalism, and I'll tell you why. There's a scene in that documentary where Yassar Yaqub's father is questioned by Mobeen about his son being a drug dealer. Now, whether the father knew or not, and it's at that moment the father realised that Mobeen Azhar was not there for the Justice for Yassar campaign, but he was there to question his son's dealings, and he was only there to expose his son as a violent, drug-dealing playboy, and he realised he's only there doing the documentary to expose his son, Yassar Yaqub. So as I said, Yaqub was a passenger in a white Audi that was stopped on a slip road, and he was fatally shot by West Yorkshire police. And there were three other individuals who appeared in court who travelled on this journey in a convoy of cars, namely David Butlin, Mohsin Amin and Rexino Arpaj. And I'm going to speak about two of these individuals, Mohsin Amin and David Butlin. So Mohsin Amin, who was driving the Audi, was jailed for 18 years over the gun plot. However, he begun his jail term in solitary confinement due to safety fears because he revealed details of the drug dealing behind the case. So it was stated that Yassar Yaqub and Mohsin Amin conspired together to endanger the life of another individual called Khalil Sidat of Dewsbury over a dispute about a drug debt. Mohsin had told the court that drug dealer Mohammed Nisar Khan, aka Meggy, was protecting Mr. Sidat, who owned Yaqub money for Class A drugs. He said Meggy agreed to hand him over in exchange for a fee at a meeting between the group at Cafe Diakbar in Bradford on 2nd of January. Mohsin Amin and Kashif Tahir were described in court respectively as the two major drug dealers' right-hand men after the meeting. Mohsin Amin was the right-hand man to Yassar Yaqub, and Kashif Tahir was the right-hand man to Mohammed Nisar Khan, aka Meggy. Mohsin, who lived with his family in Dewsbury before moving to Manchester, also said Meggy was a known police informant and there were concerns he would set up Mr. Yaqub. That's big claims there from Amin stating that Meggy was a police informant. Mr. Yaqub's boxing trainer, David Butlin, was acquitted of the conspiracy charge but was convicted of possessing an offensive weapon and he was jailed for 18 months. So in court, Mohsin Amin stated that Yassar Yaqub thought that somebody was about to frame him. Mohsin stated that Yassar Yaqub sent a message to someone saying that he's going to get set up because Meggy is a police informer. The text went to a man in Huddersfield only known as Ra and Wacky, and he was not willing to identify him because he feared repercussions. Amin also said that he'd never seen Mr. Yaqub with the pistol, which the police marksman said was aimed at him seconds before the shooting on the M62 slip road. So the court heard that a dispute was discussed at the meeting in Cafe de Akbar, and he was asked, was Yassar Yaqub a main drug dealer? And Amin replied, yeah, he sold drugs. Amin denied knowing that Khan was a drug dealer, but did say that he provided protection to people in exchange for money, was known as a police informer, and is currently in custody. So he was referring to Meggy. He also said Yassar Yaqub and Meggy Khan did not trust each other. Therefore, he was invited to the meeting to provide reassurance and comfort. And this was due to him having a mutual friend with Meggy, who was Mr. Tahir. But Amin said the dispute was not about a drugs turf war, and it was instead about Khalil Sidat, a Dewsbury man who Meggy was being paid to protect, and he owed Yassar Yaqub a lot of money for drugs. He denied knowing how much money exactly. He said only Yassar knows. Amin said the outcome of the meeting was that Mr. Khan, aka Meggy, was going to bring Mr. Sidat to meeting with Mr. Yaqub the following day. He said that a message saying Meggy was going to hand over Sidat to Yaqub meant that he was going to arrange the meeting, which he was expecting a payment for. He said Yassar Yaqub was happy on the drive back towards Huddersfield that the issue was going to be resolved. He was asked in court, when drug dealers say we are going to resolve an issue, what does that mean? Amin denied that they were going to find Mr. Sidat that day and denied that Mr. Yaqub planned to use violence or endanger Mr. Sidat's life. It turned out that Mohsin Amin decided to tell the court that Yassar Yaqub was a drug dealer. This was his boy. The other guy I want to mention is David Butlin, who was also present when Yassar Yaqub got shot. He was facing a charge of having an offensive weapon, which was a push dagger, the day Yassar Yaqub was shot dead by police that was found on him in his car using the Scirocco. He was the boxing coach of Yassar Yaqub. The different stories here, you had Mohsin Amin, who stated that Yassar Yaqub was a drug dealer, yet when Butlin was asked, he stated that Yassar Yaqub dealt in high performance sports cars, and he said that he had no knowledge that his good friend was involved in Class A drugs. You had Mohsin Amin stating that Yassar Yaqub was a drug dealer, where you had Butlin over here saying that he did not have any knowledge that Yassar Yaqub was involved with Class A drugs. That's why Mohsin's in solitary confinement because of this information that he gave. He snitched on him essentially. And he also stated that a few days before the fatal shooting, Yassar Yaqub speaking to Meggy on the phone, and Yassar Yaqub looked troubled afterwards. Butlin said he knew Meggy by reputation. Yassar Yaqub said Meggy wanted to meet him about money he owed for a car. Meggy said he could help him get the money, but he wanted paying to intervene. Butlin told the court that Yassar Yaqub didn't trust Meggy, so Butlin went down with Yassar Yaqub, not to sit down with Meggy, but just to keep an eye on things just in case anything happened, because Butlin, he had a big reputation. So Butlin was a proper fighter. So back in the day, he used to be a kickboxer, Thai boxer, then he became a professional MMA coach, and he used to run his own gym. My man's solid, and that's why he was called by Yassar Yaqub, just to keep an eye on things. So Butlin went on to say at 4 p.m. on January the 2nd, he saw Yassar Yaqub and Gino in a white Scirocco in Huddersfield. They went to Ainley Top, and Yassar Yaqub got into the Audi and he drove the Scirocco behind him with Gino in the passenger seat. Butlin denied jumping a red light or going over 100 miles per hour. Got to Cafe de Akbar, he parked in Albert Place, expecting the meeting to last 20 to 30 minutes. After more than an hour, 4 lads came out of the cafe and shook hands. 2 of the guys got into a black Bentley with a private number plate. The other 2 were Yassar Yaqub and Mohsin Amin. Gino asked if everything was okay, and Yassar Yaqub replied, yeah, cool. He told Butlin to follow the Audi back. but said he had no phone contact with Yassar Yaqub while he was in the CAF on the return trip to Huddersfield. When they got to the slip road, there was a car in front with no lights on, like it had broken down. It was slowing down the traffic. Armed police then pulled him from the car. Butlin said he saw a flash from the passenger side of the Audi that he believed was from a firearm. Butlin said it was his decision not to answer police questions. He said it was hard to articulate. It was overwhelming, the whole situation. It was like a dream going on without me being involved. He told his barrister he was not aware that there was a firearm in the Audi, and he did not initially know that Mr. Yaqub had been shot. His solicitor told him that he passed away. So both guys have denied Yassar Yaqub ever having a gun on him. And you know what? Mohsin Amin dubbed him in it and said that he was a drug dealer, but he did say that he didn't believe Yassar Yaqub had a gun, and Butlin saying the same thing. So what's all that about? So in the end, Mohsin Amin was convicted of conspiring to shoot a man. The jury also acquitted Yassar Yaqub's best friend, Rexino Arpaj, and David Butlin, who were both in the Scirocco. Butlin was convicted of possession of an offensive weapon. So at the turn of this year, the police watchdog completed its investigation into the shooting of Yassar Yaqub. So they stated that Yassar Yaqub had died from gunshot wounds to his chest following a pre-planned police operation nearly 3 years ago. They stated that gun and accessories were found in a white Audi A4 which had been stopped by armed police, and shots were fired when the men were stopped. They also confirmed that Yassar Yaqub was a passenger in the seat of the rented Audi. Said that they've completed all their investigatory work and the detailed final report has been finalised, and this report will be shared with both West Yorkshire Police and the HM Coroner early in the new year. So at this moment in time, this report's not been released, but once it comes out, I'll keep you guys informed. So in conclusion, whether Yassar Yaqub was a major drug dealer or not, that's not my concern. The concern here is one friend stating that he was a major drug dealer and the other friend stating that they had no idea that he was a drug dealer. Two conflicting stories. One of the men is in solitary confinement. That says it all. I mean, a lot of people that I spoke to with regards to Yassar Yaqub, some have got good things to say about him, some not so good. But everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Thing is, the lad's passed away. May he rest in peace. He's not here to defend himself, so it would be unfair to be critical on him. The thing I want to know about is this police report, the fact whether the West Yorkshire Police were justified in shooting him, because both people who were with him that day at that time stated that he had no gun. However, the police are saying it was a pre-planned operation, so how did they know that this was going to go down? It don't make sense unless someone snitched on him, but I'll guess we'll never know. And a little message going out to that award-winning journalist Mobeen Azhar. Went to do a documentary on a Justice for Yassar campaign to investigate the death of Mohammed Yassar Yaqub. But essentially, you went back to your hometown, you went back to your home community, just went on one big massive rant, even made Yassar Yaqub's dad feel real small because he thought that you were there from the Beeb to help him. Yet you were just there to make a mockery out of him and his Justice for Yassar campaign, which I didn't like. But you know what? That's what you get with the mainstream media and their journalism. With me, you ain't going to get that. You ain't going to sway my opinion. I'm here to give you the story, and it's for you guys to decide what you take from it. It's the gangster times. Keep it locked. Keep it real. You get me.